Hello there. Yes, I'm back today. Doing well. Very up and down still. So don't be disillusioned by anything you see. Well, let's talk about what we're going to do on today's live. And before we start that, let me say happy Canada Day to all my viewers in Canada. Have a great day. And funny enough, I was on Steve and Tina Jules live. For me, it was this morning, but to them, it was yesterday. It's so funny. I'm a day ahead. So for me, it was Wednesday, and for them, it was still Tuesday evening. And Steve did confuse me because he was saying to someone, "Oh, you need to go and check out my lives." And it's tomorrow. And I'm like, no, it's today. I have to forget some of you are so far behind in time. So, yeah, that was really good. Go and check it out. I have put a community post up to say go and check out their live. It was a really good live. They are my favourite lives when you can join in the chat. That's why I really like to see lives live, as in not on a playback, because you can really join in and chat. And that's why I get so knocked when I go on lives and you're in the chat, lots of people in the chat, and they don't talk to the chat. They just whatever. I will always respond quickly to my chat. That's another thing. Some people are playing a game of when the chat comes up. Some people just want acknowledgement and for the host to say hello, and they'll wait 10, 15, 20 minutes before they read the chat. And then they will say, I'm running out of time. I'll just pick a few out. Well, if you've invested so much time to be in the chat, it's like not answering to a comment on a video. So what are we doing today? Well, I put the title up, Did You Know This? And I thought I'd do a right old mixed bag. Some catch up, some of what I've been doing, showing you different things, and also some things did you know? And let's start straight away. I have done a whole video a long time ago on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. And I think the playlist is Weather Series. And I've done about rainbows and sunset videos, that kind of thing. So anything weather or similar. And I did a whole video. It's very beautiful filming, but talking about different types of clouds and how you can recognize clouds. And I did come across this article today, so which does a very short roundup. So I thought I'd read it to you. Clouds are a familiar and fascinating feature of our skies. They form when water vapours in the air cools and condenses into tiny droplets or ice crystals, grouping together to become a visible mass floating in the atmosphere. Though they may look light and fluffy, they can carry thousands of tons of water. Beyond their beauty, clouds play a vital role in the Earth's climate and weather. They help regulate temperature by reflecting sunlight during the day and trapping heat at night. They also form the basis of the water cycle, eventually releasing rain, snow or hail that sustains life on Earth. Clouds come in many shapes and types, classified mainly by their appearance and the altitude at which they form. There are three main categories. Now, these are what I've talked about in my cloud video with some beautiful cloud footage I took from my property. Cumulus, these are the puffy white clouds you often see on fair weather days. They look like cotton balls and usually form at lower altitudes. Stratus, These clouds form in flat grey layers that cover the sky like a blanket. They often bring drizzle or light rain and sit low in the atmosphere. And then cirrus. High in the sky, these thin, wispy clouds are made mostly of ice crystals and often signal that a change in the weather is coming. Each type of cloud tells a story about the weather conditions above us. Watching the sky isn't just relaxing, it's also a glimpse into the planet's natural processes. So I hope that's useful. As I say, go on to my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. I'm sure the playlist is called Weather Series, and if you're into nature and sunsets, and I think there might be hailstone videos on there, I can't remember, but do take a look at that. And I've done video recently of updates, just little tiny clips. I might do a lot more videos like that, as well as my long form videos, but on this channel I'm going to do some roundup videos, so to take the pressure off me filming lots of stuff and editing it, I'll literally be like today I harvest some Malabar spinach, so I just did a little bit of filming while I was doing that, and I will just add all bits like that together. Maybe I'll see a creature in the garden, a hedgehog or a chameleon, and I'll just take little bits of those and then just stick them all together as one video. So it's kind of roundup videos and quickly moving on to the next thing. I do a similar thing sometimes on the other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, and that series, it's got its own playlist. It's called Dawn's Diary, and then I'll just flash up Monday and then some clips of one thing, Tuesday little clips of something else, and again that's quite a mixed bag. It might be baking a cake or going to the salvage dump, whatever, those kind of things. So there'll be more of those sort of videos, so look out for those. Now, on what I was filming is I haven't edited it yet. I'll probably edit on Monday if I'm okay. I can't tell how I'm going to be from minute to minute at the minute. Oh, by the way, if I ever just cut out of a live, it's probably I've got issues. So I've filmed that we went to a charity shop yesterday, and I'll show you some of what I got there. But I talk about how there's a free magazine you can get from all over Cyprus, and I've just mentioned it before, but I thought I'd show you what sort of things are in it. And it's called Pals, and it's monthly. Half of it is not very good because it's just the same old adverts. It's more adverts and sports clubs, what they've been doing. But there are three or four pages that are quite good. And one is a lady who writes just what's happened to her. And I found this really funny or interesting, so I'd shared this little bit of what she wrote. And she says, I do hope my leaking roof will be fixed. I've had 3 artisans visit to check the job and quote. Only the 3rd bought a ladder. The 2nd simply stood aground, looked up and declared, you'll need a complete new roof. The 3rd looked aghast and said, I didn't know it would be that high up. Needless to say, she lives in a bungalow. Where do they expect the roof to be? So I thought that was really funny. As you say, I like her page. She writes some interesting stuff. Very rare that you see any new adverts. And this is where I got the contact of, I told you how I'm selling a lot of my clothes, and I mean a lot. I haven't got a lot left. I've got a few new stuff to replace certain things, and this is where I found the advert across the island where you can go and sell your clothes, which means the clothes I've replaced them with, I hopefully will get for free. There is a puzzle page, there's Sudoku, a crossword, word search, and some quiz questions, such as which horse has won the Epsom Derby twice? Brian May, the guitarist in the band Queen, achieved recognition in what other field? What else? Oh, there we go. I've got a lot of Americans watch me. So, which two US presidents have been elected to serve 2 non-consecutive terms? So there's 10 questions there. Let's look at the answers. Answers on page 27. So what question did I pick first? What horse has won the Epsom Derby twice? That's question 10. There are the answers then. There they are. Question 10. What horse has won the Epsom Derby twice? It says none. Only for 3-year-olds are eligible. What does that mean? Only 4 3-year-olds are eligible. Which horse has won the Epsom Derby twice? So they're saying that it's every year though, isn't it? So a horse could win twice. Oh, they can only be 3 years old. So they can't be 3 years old more than once. Right, so they're only 3-year-olds once and it's every year. Oh, right, I didn't know that. Didn't understand the answer for a minute. So that's quite a good question once you get what it means. Then what did I read? Brian May, the Queen guitarist, achieved recognition in what other field? Question 7. Question 7. PhD in astrophysics. And then the other one I asked you was question 2. Which 2 US presidents have been elected to serve 2 non-consecutive terms? I hope you Americans got that. Cleveland and Trump. You probably all would have got Trump then for sure. So yeah, there's that. Mike likes, there's a bit of classic vehicle club. There's a classic vehicle club in Paphos, and there's always an article by them. And this one is about the Caterham 7. So that Mike reads that bit. Oh, and there's this. This is interesting. This I've never seen before. And Paphos isn't where I live, but I was going to contact them and see if it would be of any use or not. But it's a new garden club, and it was originally part of the UKCA, which was the United Kingdom Citizens Association. There was one in Limassol, but not anymore. And they are saying that basically they arrange trips to take the group to see gardens, like normal people's gardens. I know this happens in other countries as well, but they're saying you could even have a nice balcony or a small garden, and they want to take people there. And then what they do, they take them there and then take them for a meal in a restaurant nearby. So it says the people who want to go, there's no membership fee, just a small monthly charge, which is paid to the host or a monetary share in a trip to somewhere special. So, as I say, not in my area, and I would imagine they work out a day when they can go from place to place. But I was going to say, as I'm a bit of a distance away, they could come and just spend the whole day, afternoon, morning, whatever. So though it's a bit of a journey, but they would spend all that time looking at mine. I like the bit about the host gets a small small amount of money. That would be pretty cool. So I've written down that it's a Gmail contact. And as I say, they don't have a Limassol group now, but I could talk and see what happens. Maybe they'd arrange something. Maybe they go, no thanks. No thanks. So there was that. And what else was... Oh, this. Did you know this? I didn't know this. Now, I haven't travelled since we arrived in Cyprus. We had a cruise, 2 cruises for our honeymoon from Cyprus, and that was it. I don't have a passport anymore, so I can't go anywhere. So I haven't flown. I never went back to England once I left there to come here. Never been back, not for a short visit, nothing. And when I first came out here, that was before all flights and how you check in and all that changed. You know, now you have to have certain size bags, and you couldn't carry liquids and all those rules. That wasn't a thing when I last flew. There was none of that. So I don't know any of the rules and regs. And my sister says she's not coming out here now because they have to do eye scans or biometrics or something like that. Hey, Steve. Steve and Tina, I loved your live this morning. My morning, your yesterday. I really loved it. I've sent you an email, Steve, about what I talked about. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet because you just got up. But I've sent you an email. And a picture of Mike's dinosaurs. So anyway, I don't know about flying anymore. So I was reading this, and bear in mind this magazine is made by the English community. And this is a page, the pastor of Paphos, somewhere in Paphos. He always writes a sort of semi-religious page. And I just happened to read it, which was interesting. And he says, I'm no longer allowed into the United Kingdom, ever. Despite having travelled through and to the UK countless times over the past 30 years, I'm no longer welcome there. I hope people joining later on in this chat don't think this is me. And he says, why? Because of a felony conviction from 35 years ago. Now, he doesn't say what. With the introduction of the UK's new electronic travel authorisation, the ETA programme, everyone travelling through the United Kingdom is required to fill out an ETA application, which includes questions about former criminal convictions. Fair enough. Recently, I had to change planes at Heathrow Airport en route to the USA. I was informed that even with an American passport, I needed an ETA to do so. Initially, I didn't think much of it. However, after answering the questionnaire honestly, I received a refusal based on my 35-year-old conviction within an hour, along with instructions to apply for a transit visa through the nearest embassy. Trusting that reasonable minds would prevail, I went through a lengthier process, which included filling out an exhaustive application and travelling to Nicosia, Lefkosia, our capital, to get biometrics done. By the way, that cost a couple of €100 as well. The only difference between the first application and the second was that it took a week to get the refusal instead of an hour. I was shocked to read in the email that I was no longer allowed to go to the UK for any reason. And it gets worse. My ticket to the US was non-refundable, and knowing that I wouldn't pass through passport control between planes, I decided to risk it and take the flight anyway. However, I received a phone call from British Airways 2 days before my flight, informing me that the government had contacted them and I would not be allowed on the flight. I was fairly stunned and started to feel like a criminal all over again. I totally understand the need for security and applaud all the effort governments make to protect their countries. However, the lack of human reasoning and balance in this case was astonishing. Since I paid my debt to society 35 years ago, I have spent my life doing Christian ministry and charitable work, which includes extensive travel for international relief work in war-torn and disaster situations. I don't share this information to boast, but to point out that despite providing all this information on the ETA application, it had no bearing on my case. Some computer algorithm flagged my criminal conviction and decided my fate. My favourite part of the whole process was being informed that there is no appealing this decision. Indeed, despite all my efforts, I was never able to talk to a human being about any of this. So, why am I sharing this? In an era increasingly shaped by technological advancement, artificial intelligence is becoming a force in our daily lives. AI's potential to revolutionise industries is undeniable. However, as AI continues to permeate the realms of justice and law enforcement, the risks associated with arbitrary AI justice becomes alarmingly apparent. The allure of AI lies in its promise of efficiency, objectivity, and precision, yet the integration of AI into judicial processes is fraught with ethical, legal, and other challenges that are highlighted in cases like mine. Another significant danger of AI justice is the lack of transparency in how decisions are made. AI algorithms are also described as black boxes because their decision-making process are not easily understood by humans. This lack of transparency is particularly problematic in the context of justice, where decisions can have profound consequences for individual lives like mine. When a person cannot understand or challenge the reasoning behind AI-driven decisions, it undermines the principle of a reasonable outcome. One of the core principles of justice is that it should be administered by humans who can exercise empathy, discretion, and moral judgment. AI, by its nature, lacks these human qualities. While AI can process vast amounts of data and identify patterns, it cannot understand the cases of individual cases or the human experience. This raises questions about whether it's appropriate to entrust AI with decisions that can profoundly impact people's lives. So, yeah, that was very interesting. And as I say, you get an odd feature now and then in this magazine, and that's why we pick it up. Obviously, we picked that one up. So that was that. Hey, we have Naomi in. Hello, how are you? Thank you for being here. I've been reading all your lovely comments, so thank you for that. I really enjoy seeing your comments. Okay, let's have a quick quote of the day. I have a drink. What are we on today? Wednesday. Let's do Wednesday's current quote. So let's do some other updates. So on one of my shopping up hauls, I did show you how I'd lost it's not a nail file, it's the one that you use to clean out your nails. And I can't find it anywhere. And I normally take it to use it in the bedroom, so it's probably got caught up in the bedding somewhere, and it'll probably end up in the washing machine. I can't find it, and I couldn't find a new one to buy. All they had was these wooden stick things, so I got them temporarily. But frugal me, can you see what I've put them in? It's like a CD case, I suppose. CD case, I think this was from a computer disc. So there's always a use for something. I do love finding storage solutions. So I've done that. And then yesterday we went to a charity shop. I have done a video of these, but I haven't really shown you them fully. So I got 3 books. There was something else I got there, so I'll leave that for the video. But 3 books. The books are 50 cents each. 50 cents each. That's European cents, as in euros and cents, not American cents. So I picked up, I want to get more into flowers. I just grow vegetables and stuff I can eat. I've got into herbs, but I want to get more into flowers. I'm going to start easy with more bulbs. I've got a few flowers. So I picked this one up. I've talked about this author before. It's Patricia Jordan, and she does lots of books on cypress gardens. So I'll always pick hers up. This one's The Potted Garden. What does she say? Yeah, she's an award-winning horticulturalist. Where are we? She lives with her husband Howard, having switched from the cool-down climates of Western Scotland to the arid dryness of Cyprus. And this book is The Potted Garden, is a follow-up to her first book, The Cypress Garden. I think that might be the one I've got over there. After many requests from gardeners without a garden for a book about growing plants on verandas, patios and courtyards, she's now written this book. In this book, she offers advice and useful tips on the different ways to grow plants in pots, the great variety of plants that can be used in Cyprus climatic conditions, the type of compost to buy, and how to keep bugs away, and much more, with 250 colour photographs and a month-by-month guide. Now, I said I paid 50 Cyprus cents, like euro cents, and it says on the back it's 17 euros originally, this book. Wow. Wow. So I thought I'd share a little bit, show you this one. I'll show you the other books. So they've got really nice pictures. And is this the one that's got the month guide somewhere? Yeah, plant of the month. So she picks a different plant each month. So you can, that might be a good guide. Just choose one plant. She's got a whole section on cacti and other succulents in pots. Oh, I've got these. I didn't know what these were called. These are on my rockery. They're very pretty. They're not out like this all year. They're just once a year they come out, but they come out every year. I've got those. It's good for potted plants. Well, no, they grow really huge. They grow huge. How can you have those in a pot? At times the foliage can be almost black, showing off the stunning yellow broccoli-like flower heads to perfection. During the summer, they tend to go very scrawny as the plant uses up its reserve of water stored in the stems and flowers. But come the cooler weather, off they go again, filling out before they burst into flower again next spring. They're very easy to grow. And just water them. Just break off a stem and push firmly into a pot of soil. I've got a whole load of them like that. Mine are probably, when they're in flower, I'm going to say they're probably up to my chest when they're in flower, because you can see these are quite big. So I have those. I love it when I find names out of plants. So you've got that section. What else have we got? All about different sorts of geraniums. And I did see there's one here. I always call it lemon geranium. That's not its true name. And it's the leaf like this, and you brush past it. It smells absolutely fabulous. I've always called it lemon geranium, but I can learn proper names now. And there is a picture of the flowers of that one there. I remember seeing that. So these are the flowers on that one here. It smells wonderful. So I have that on my stone table patio. I've also got this one. And I've got lots of normal pink geranium. Just standard pink geranium. So I have a few geraniums. What else? I've got about some hedges. All different plants. Jasmine, I grow jasmine. This type of jasmine I have. This white one here. I have a big bush of jasmine. I like this. Let's see if I can get this. And this is why I like Cypress books, because if they're in her books specific to Cypress, then I know they should grow. If they don't grow, it's my fault, or I got the wrong, what do you call it, height, altitude. And I got a bit of lemons. As you know, I've got loads of lemons. Oleander, I've got loads of oleander. I got a bit on pomegranates. And this year I'm going to juice my pomegranates, and I'm going to juice my fridge. Figs. Good example there of Dawn talking gobbledygook. Olive trees, because some people do grow them in pots. Not for long, once that trunk gets massive. Hanging baskets and tall planters. It's very pretty. The only thing with growing flowers is I don't really want much more to have to water. So I will see if there's a section of things that don't need much water. And that is the downside of containers. I have seen these before. Fancy cabbages. That might be the way to go. House plants. You can't do that. Sure, if you've got aircon or something like that. We don't have much windows. It sounds very odd, but if you watch the video of my house and you'll understand why. Apart from the sun lounge, which is too hot, like a hot house. Herbs. There is a whole section on herbs. I actually read some of this bit. There's some herbs here I've never heard of. What's this called? Alosia. I've never heard of that. Do you know what that is? Never heard of that. What's it say? Oh, this is what gets me. You think you like, what's that? And then you get another name for it, and you're like, oh yeah, I do know that. Lemon verbena or verbena, some of you say. It's just another name for it. And that really confuses new gardeners. Basil, you've got purple basil and white flower basil. We've got two types of basil. I have the white flower one. I have the Italian one, which is huge basil leaves. So if you ever get basil, look for the Italian basil. Chives. There's so much chive this year. Chives. I read something about chives today. Was it that? Oh, you can freeze chives. I wasn't sure about that. Coriander. Not over fond of that. Dill. It gets too hot here. I grow dill, but doesn't last long. Lavender. I've got lavender. Lemongrass. Oregano. And the Americans go, what? Oregano to you. Myrtle. If you don't know myrtle flowers, that's there. That looks very much like my caper flowers. My caper flowers have some pinky purple in them. The leaves aren't the same, but that's very much like my capers that I grow. Parsley, rosemary. I have parsley and rosemary. Sage. I haven't grown any sage yet. I have seeds, but they didn't happen. Tarragon. I don't have that. Thyme. I so want to grow thyme. We've got wild thyme just out on our driveway. I love the smell. That's probably my favourite smell is thyme. And then we've got spring plants. I think I will start with more bulbs. I do have a lot of them. Hyacinths, they smell beautiful. I don't have those. So I think I will go through and like, oh, I'll get that and I'll get that. And I didn't know you could get summer bulbs, winter bulbs. So maybe I'll look into that. Oh, and bugs. Now I've done videos on both these bugs and many more. So on this channel, I don't know what the playlist is called, whether it's just called bugs, friend or foe, something like that. If you want to know how to get rid of all sorts of bugs or identify them, then that's where you need to go. Snails. These are the dragonflies we have in Cyprus, red dragonflies. We also have blue dragonflies, but mostly the red. And then you've got different pest problems. I have done a whole video on mealybug, which is this white stuff you get on your plant. I've done a whole video on that. How to stop it. It's all very well getting rid of something, but you learn from me how to stop it in the first place. So that's one book. There's a gardening one, and then there's something completely different. So this one I picked up. This is Tree and Shrub Expert. I think some of you may have this book. There's a series of this type of book. Complete Guide to the Selection and Care of Trees and Shrubs. This was originally priced at £2.65. And I like this because these are the sort of books I like where you don't have to read a whole ton of things. This is leaf problems. So you just look at the picture. Oh, yeah, that's my leaf problem. Or, oh, yeah, that's the bug. And then it tells you about it. So I like these quick to look at books. So this is the sort of book I really like. You've got your problems, and hopefully it's your solution as well. Hopefully. Powdery mildew, woolly aphid, rust, witch's broom, never heard of that. A dense clump of branching twigs can sometimes be seen on the trunks and main branches of birch, cherry and conifers. The cause is usually a fungus, but it may be a virus or a change in the structure of a growth bud. These bird nest clumps do no harm, but they can be cut off and wounds painted with arbrex. So yeah, all different bugs. This is what I like. I like a quick reference. So this is problems with leaf, stem and blossom. What other problem pages have they got? They got an index of garden words, which funny enough, I've just filmed the last one of my garden word glossary. Bark troubles. If you have things going on with your bark. So that's handy. What else? Then you have screening plants, hedges, how to do cuts, cutting your trees, taking cuttings, training and supporting, increase your stock, annual pruning, mulching, hoeing, feeding, winter protection, tree and shrub care, thinning, cutting back, staking, spacing, planting, getting soil ready. And then you've got all the different types of conifers and similar conifers, so you can identify them. I've got so many different types of trees like this, so many different ones. I think I've identified most of them. Hopefully I can find some more in here. Climbers, trees, all different sorts of trees, ornamental. But yeah, I think it's a good book, this one. So as I say, for 50 cents, Euro cents, not American cents. There's all the different plants in here. So that was good. Now the one that's completely different, you know, I love people, books or videos, YouTubers that are relocating, that kind of thing. And I also love anything about Cyprus, like people's stories of living here or how it was in the old days. And I happened to see this one. It's called Village Bread, Olive Oil and a Grandmother's Blessings. And that is about a Cypriot Greek, which isn't a true Cypriot. And they also spent time in South Africa, and they also talk about travels to see other family in other countries such as Australia. It's got about Cypriot culture in the back. It's got lots of recipes. So you've got so many pictures. And it's based in a village mostly, apart from their travels. A village, kind of in my region, a bit higher up. They've got lots of pictures and stories of the author growing up and her grandmother. Let's see. There was a little bit too much chapters on their travels elsewhere, but I think I will enjoy it. I did sort of read snippets out of it. Becoming an adult in Cyprus, how she met her husband, and the pictures are very authentic, so I like that. There was no price on this to buy it. It was 50 cents, but there's no original price, sadly, on the book. So I don't know how much it was. Never seen this book before. And this is just the sort of book that I really like. So it talks about traditions, and these are really nice. These are the residue of when they make the alcohol. And there's normally on the string, there's normally almonds threaded, and then they drip the juice of the alcohol and they let them set. They are really nice. Really nice. Yeah, people have it in their pantry to offer any unexpected guest. I nearly said uninvited guest then. That's a Cypriot wedding. I did better than that. I did the money pinned on the dress at the wedding, at my wedding in Cyprus. So I had a big wedding dress and all rings of money there from the guests. So that was that, really. That was that. So that's a little catch up. Anything else? Oh, I'm filming but not posting it yet of I'm stratifying fruit tree seeds, like the pips and the stones, and I did a next stage of one lot of them today, so I filmed that, and then again I'm going to wait till I've done the whole lot and then put all the little clips together so you can see how I stratify and start fruit trees. So I think that's all to catch up on. There's anything else really? As I say, I just called this Did You Know This? I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I just post random titles. Sometimes I go back and change the title if I talked about something specific. Probably leave that title today because we've talked about lots of different things there. I want to do another Q&A video soon. They're easy for me to make and I love doing them. So if you've got any questions at all, they can be related to Cyprus or me or my life or just random questions such as what's your favourite animal, you know, anything at all. They can be fun questions, they can be serious questions. And if I answer your questions, I will put your channel up in the video and that will help promote your channels. I might take some questions as well from my channel if people are asking questions. If I think you might all be interested in that, then I will use that as well. So you might see a random question like, oh, when did I ask that? Steve says, I see the crowns in chat now, got your email. Are they in my chat? Isn't it weird? The host can't see it. So you can see them now in my chat. If any of you don't know what we're talking about, I went on Steve and Tina's chat, my morning, Steve's last night. And I was saying to Steve and Tina, I love that when you two are together talking. You're number one. Right, and in the chat, remember he's the host and I'm in the chat as a fan. And I said to him, what's this hashtag thing? And it came up. It's a picture, it's like black drawing. It's a line across, I believe, and it like a crown, looks like a crown. And then I think there was a hashtag and a number. And 1 minute mine said #1, and then it was the rest of the chat #3. And I said, what's that? And Steve and Tim, like, we can't see anything. And then later on, it wasn't on anyone else's comments. And then later on, I said, now it's appeared after other people in the comments chat. I think that was the moderators. And it was then, you can see how I've got this purple outline here. It was like that after their name. And they had a crown. And then they had bigger numbers, hashtag a number. So I was playing around while I was in the live and I went up the top. I can't do it on here now, but I went up the top, went on top chat, and it said, I screenshotted that and sent it to Steve as well. And it said about XP. And then Tina was saying, it's giving you points now, XP, for how often you chat. And it didn't go up each time you put a comment in. YouTube wants to keep chatting, keep the number title #1. So I'm assuming it's the person who put the most comments in the chat. That's all I can think of. And I said to Steve and Tina, that wouldn't make me chat more. In fact, things like that actually annoy me, that they're, I need to chat. And I went on someone else's channel later on and they've done a video talking about it. And I put, what sort of person really wants, I'm going to do loads more comments because I'll get a crowd with something else on. I thought that's bizarre. And we were talking on Steve and Tina's channel saying about, because I'm a beta tester. And on that, they send you all these things. And some of them are brilliant ideas. And then no, we won't use that. And then they come up with something like this. But as I said, it's all for YouTube it keeps people in the chat and whatever else. But again, I don't think it's a fair thing. Most of the way people's channels grow and whatever else isn't fair. For example, my lives don't compute to most other countries' times. So unless people that are in the chat now, it's possibly your early morning, But if, say, you're in America and you go on a sensible time, you've got all of America that could potentially be of a good time to come and watch your lives. So I don't like any way a channel can grow when it's based on your country or your time. So lives, unless I start doing lives at 4 o'clock in the morning, potentially I haven't got people that are going to be in the chat when it's live. I get lots of views after, but if they're playing a game with the actual live chat, potentially it's another unfair thing that people can keep lives playing 24 hours a day. Well, that's not fair from those who can't afford internet where you can have it, whether you can afford to pay for the internet to be running constantly, or you're on a plan or a country where it doesn't cost you a lot to do that. So I think it needs to be fair play, but yeah. But yeah, that's funny. I'm glad that you said it's come up on mine because I can't see it now. And because I've not been around for a couple of months, normally my friend tells me from YouTube, tells me all what the new stuff is. And obviously I've not been about, so I wasn't aware of that one. Whereas normally I'm the guy who's on saying, oh, this is going to come out, or they're testing this, you might get it, you might not get it. So yeah, thanks to Tina. It annoys me that I didn't know what something was. Yeah, so as I say, I'd like to do a Q&A. I don't think I have plans for much coming up. I've got another horse video to edit. They're very popular on my channel, my horses and chickens and things. I think the number one should be a gold crown. I'm guessing that means you've commented the most on this chat. That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing what that means. Yeah. What have I got planned? Yeah, I've got up on my board. I've got to edit that. Oh, and I've finally got round to making a bad video. I had to edit it a lot, so it's not very long. I was talking on one of my lives how you use your phone for a second camera. So I've filmed that, and I've got to edit that. I'll probably edit that on Monday, all being well. So that will be up soon, how to use your phone as a second camera. So if, like now, I'm doing a live, but I'm crafting or an artist and I'm doing painting here while I'm doing a live, how you can use your camera to do that, and you put the second camera like a guest down the bottom, and then I could switch backwards and forwards to showing you that and showing me. I have done that on quite a few lives, particularly on my channel Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. I did do that quite a lot on that. If I was doing a puzzle, or I think I've done some cross stitch ones on that channel, because I try and do more craft things or actually do something in a live rather than just chatting. Because again, that's not a very reasonable time for most of you to watch. For me, it's 2 p.m. and whereas that's a good time for me. I only started doing them at that time on my other channel on Fridays because I got asked by my Australian friends, can you do a live at different time? So we've got a chance of coming on. So I do it then. But yeah, how's the cross stitching? Haven't done any more since I last showed it. I showed it last Wednesday. I came on live, cross stitch. Yeah. So I haven't done any more since I last showed it to you. I was talking about how I've managed to, or found a way to get rid of all my books I don't want anymore. And so I'm trying, before we go, to finish some more books I've been reading. So cross stitch has taken a back seat. Plus I wanted to give my friend back some jigsaw puzzles that she's lent me, because I've been sitting on them for a while. So I also did a couple of jigsaw puzzles, and she came today. In fact, she turned up while I was on Steve and Tina's live. And I was like, no, I want to stay with Steve and Tina until they finish their live, because Steve and Tina are always on my lives, and I can't pay back that because obviously your lives, Steve and Tina, are normally something like 4 o'clock in the morning for me. So I'd just gone on to actually just go through Gmails and stuff that I haven't been going through. And I turned on YouTube and there was Steve and Tina live. I was like, yeah! Yeah! I was so pleased. Hey, it's the NDT show here. Hello to you, Nathan. How are you doing? I'm sort of back now, so I will be catching up on everyone's channels. I might have put odd comments on or watched little bits of people's, but I'm sort of back to normal. Oh, Steve, I sent you the picture of Mike's dinosaur plaster. Did you like it? I was talking to Steve about how Mike had quite a bad fall, really, and he's got a big gouge like this in his knee, on his kneecap. He fell down, and I put different dressings on it, and then we were going out. So I said, I don't want like a sort of a bit of lint or whatever, and then put loads of tape across. He said, we're going out now, and should I leave it open? I said, no, you get dirt or dust in it. So I said, I must have one of those big plasters. Do you call them plasters? Band-aids. I think Americans say band-aids. So I said, I must have a big one. And the only big one I had loads of dinosaurs on from when I used to do dance school. And obviously you always have to have loads of plasters or something for the little kiddies. Steve's just done a link for Nathan's channel. Thank you for that. Looks cute on his knee, yeah. I don't think I can bring it up easily. I don't want to lose the live, but yeah. So I was talking about that on Steve and Tina's live today. Guys, do go over and look at Steve and Tina's live. It was really good. An excellent live. A perfect live to watch. There's lots of chat and fun. Yeah, so because I talked about it, I sent Steve the. I told Michael what you were chatting about, Steve, about him. I said, "Oh, you're heavily featured on Steve and Tina's live." He came in for a bit, as I say. My friend turned up, so he went out and was talking to her for a little bit. She's the one who brings me the puzzles, and she also brings me, what should we call them? Containers for my plants. Sometimes if she comes across old flower pots, or when you go to a supermarket and you buy fruit in a plastic container, she brings me those for growing and stuff like that. So she came over. I haven't seen her for quite a while, so that was pretty cool. That was good. Let's do a little short interlude so I can have another drink. Where's my interludes? Up here. Here. So that's awesome. I've done an hour again. I find that's a great achievement. So don't forget to hit the thumbs up on your way out. And as I say, do go and check out Steve and Tina's channel. They're absolutely awesome. And Nathan's channel is really cool as well, the NDT show. If you go and have a look there, it's a nice varied channel. He does gardening and he takes you different places. I love the places Nathan takes you to. That's pretty awesome. And taste testing different things, or if there's a new flavour or something, that's often on Nathan's channel. So check out the NDT show, and also enjoy with Know Me. Do go and have a look there as well. And I hope to, I can't promise you when I'm here or when I'm not, but I hope to be back with you Friday on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. And some of you, thank you if you did watch my live I did on Friday on my other channel, Everything Dance Your Mentor. it's not just about dancing. Well, it's dancing, but it's not just learning dancing. My live that I've just done on that channel on Friday was talking about my dance journey, and it was the next installment of that, and that's got a lot of views. And it was talking about comparing how I went to dance classes, how that's changed with today, how it compares. For example, the teacher played records for you to dance to. So if you want a sort of a throwback of history of how things were, then that's pretty cool. So I'm going to finish there for today. Thank you for your support. It really is appreciated. And don't forget to share the channel if you like what you see. And I will hope to see you Friday on my other channel or back here on Monday, same time as today. So until then, as always, Meraki.